Shabbat Shalom to the live stream. We'll begin on page 65 in silence. Baruch Adonai Melech Haolam, Asher Natan L'Savivin Lehavivin Moving Laila. Baruch Adonai Melech Haolam, Shesani Betzamo. Baruch Adonai Melech Haolam, Shesani Israel. Baruch Adonai Elohim Melech Haolam, Shesani Ben Horim. Baruch Adonai Melech Haolam, Pokeach Ephraim. Baruch Adonai Elohim Melech Haolam, Mopi Sharomim. Baruch Adonai Elohim Melech Haolam, Matir Surim. Baruch Adonai Elohim Melech Haolam, Sokik Kufim. Baruch Adonai Melech Haolam, Raka Aretz Hamayim. Baruch Adonai Melech Haolam, She'esali Kol Sarki. Baruch Adonai Melech Haolam, Hamihimi Tzadikave. Baruch Adonai Melech Haolam, Usei Yisrael Bekifura. Baruch Adonai Melech Haolam, Otei Yisrael Betifara. Baruch Adonai Melech Haolam, Anotin Leyev Koach. ותננו היום ובכל יום לכנו לחסד ולרחמים בעינך ונקול רואינו ותיגמל לנו חסדים טובים ברוך אתה אדוני גומל חסדים טובים לעמו ישראל page 66 יהי רצון מלפניך עיני אלוהינו ולא אבותינו שדברי המקדש יהי רצון מלפניך page 66 יהי רצון מלפניך עינינו ולא אבותינו שביום יום אשרינו מה טוב כאלוקים אשרינו מה טוב כאלוקינו מה נעים גורלנו מה יפה ירושתנו שרינו שנתנו משכינים מעוררים ערב ובוקר ואומרים פעמים בכל יום שמע ישראל אדוני אלוהינו אדוני אחד ברוך שכוונתו ללב לעד page 67 התהו שרב התהו בעולם הזה והתהו לעולם הבא קדש את שמך עמדתי שמך וקדש את שמך בעולמך ובישועתך תרים ותגביה קרננו ברוך אתה אדוני יקדש את שמך ברבים אתה אדוני אלוהינו בשמיים ובארץ אוקיי אפילו שבת שמיים הזם הנוחסת בעבור שכך נקרא עלינו וקיים לנו אלוהינו מה שכתוב באל היי אביכם אלוהי כבצי אתם כי אתם כן לשם ונתיבי לה בכל עמי הארץ בשובי את שיפוטיכם בעיניכם אמר אדוני page 70 רבי ישמעאל אומר ב13 מידות התורה הנדרשת זה אצל אשר יבוא הקשיבי ביניכם יהי רצון מלפניך ולא יבואתנו שבבני בית המקדש בימי רב ימינו ותן כלכנו בתורתך ושמע עבדך בעיר הקני עולם וכשנים כמוניות. Those who have our same courage, join me at page 71. יקדש שמי רבה ולמדתי פרקיותי וברכותי וחייכון יומכם וחיי דרכי ישראל גלאו ושמאל כריפים מרו עמי יהי שמי המפרק יברק וישתבח ויברך ויתרומם ויעשה ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתעלה שמי לקודשה בריחו לילה מכל וכלותיו ושירתיו תושבקתיו ונחמתיו דמירם מהווה אמרו עמי Page 72.
Okay, give me a minute to go there. How you doing, Marty?
Started. I already started. I started. Tell him I started. I started, man. I'm on page 72. I started. Yeah, I started.
Okay, you said you're on 72?
Page 72. Yep. Page 72 for those on the live stream as well. Yeah. I'm on page 72 of the email. Page 72.
Okay, and we're done here, so we'll move the mic back.
Right. 72.
People start coming in.
Yeah. Shh.
You know, we close all of it. Not mandatory. Like, I mean, I'm not saying take it off. But
Okay, well, that's good.
if we didn't get the word out there, I'm trying to do it today. But I want everybody to know that.
Page 72. Hayom Yom Shabbat Kodesh, Shebo Hayu Olim V'Momrim Befei HaMikdash, Mizmor Shir Liyom HaShabbat Tov Lechodo, L'Adonai Ulesamer, L'Shika Elyon Ulesamer, L'Shika Elyon, Mizmor Shir Liyom HaShabbat Tov Lechodo, L'Adonai Ulesamer, L'Shika Elyon Ulesamer, L'Shika Elyon, Lechagi baboker hastecha, v'emunetecha baleilot, ale Yosef, ale Navel, Ilevi Gibor, Bigi Nor, Mismor Shir Liyom HaShabbat Tov Lechodo, L'Adonai Ulesamer, L'Shika Elyon, Ulesamer, L'Shika Elyon. Sadikata Mar Yifra Keres Balevanon Iske Shetulim Eved Adonai Bekasrot Eloheinu Yafrihu Od Yenuvu Beseva Deshenim Verananim Iyu Lehagi Ki Ashar Adonai Suri Velo Aflatabo. Page 81. Dearly Yom Hashab. Miss Moshir Hanakabai Le David. Kira Madonai Jose Vata Nevel Shimano Zeli. Hafakta mispedi lemacholi, pitakta sakifa tisereni, simka lemani samirka, kavavilo yido, madonai lilam odecha. Beliefs. One. Minion?
Not yet.
Not yet. Page 83 for Baruch Shemar, we all rise, Piskin, Pesuki de Simra, Baruch Shemar Vehayala, Baruch Hu, Baruch Oser Vereshi, Baruch Omer Veoser, Baruch Oser Umekayim, Baruch Merachem al Haaretz, Baruch Merachem al Brio, Baruch Mishalem Sakartol Veria, Baruch Alad, Vekayam Lanetzach, Baruch Podeu Matzil, Baruch Shemo, Barakatana Melech Alam, Rakamana Mil Befiamo, Mishapakam Regihona, Zidav Avedav, Ushiri Davi of Dekan Nikolaka Nail Hainu Beshifa Holder Israel, Nikadaka, Nishabaka, Nifa Aircraft Kitchen, Kawelaka, Kinu Elohenu, Yahi Haolamim, Melech Mishabaka Mifar, Deachimo Hagadol, Baruch Atah Adonai, Melech Mecholaba Tishbako. Join me at page 85. Hove Hagal Lefana, Volts Fecheva, Bimekomo. Adonai. Romemu, Romemu, Adonai Eloheinu, Veishtakavu, Shtakavu, Lechadom Raglav, Kadoshu, Romemu, 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 Adonai Eloheinu, Veishtakavu, Veishtakavu, Shtakavu Lekarcho, Kikadosh, Kikadosh, Adonai Eloheinu, lai la 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 la. Join me in the middle of page 86. Hoshia de Mecca, Uvarela Teka, Ure Venase, Resead Haolam. Hoshia de Mecca, Uvarela Teka, Ure Venase, Resead Haolam. Join me on page 88. Which for similar snippets from the Torah service, starting with the Gimel. Gadlu Adonai ti une romema yad down to the Yud. Yiru et Adonai ki ducha ki ein maxor lirea kivirashu v'arevu v'darshe kol chol. Then the mem, mi ha'ish hechavetz chai. Ohev yamim lirot tov, nesor leshor mirma umisbartecha umibar mirma, sor verasei tov, Bake shalom v'arevu mi ha'ish echavetz chayim ohev yamim liroto. Join me on page 92 for Psalm 136, which I'll do the first 12 and then pick up from the Lesichon to the end, like this. Hodu ladonai ki tov ki leolam kasto. Hodu lelo Elohe ha Elohi ki leolam kasto. Hodu ladonai ha Adoni ki leolam kasto. Leo se niflo gedolo levado. Ki leolam kasto, leo se hashamai bitivuna. Ki leolam kasto, lero karetz al hamai. Ki leolam kasto, leo se orim gedolim. Ki leolam kasto, et Hashem Eshmem shelebayo. Ki leolam kasto, lesikon melech hamori. Ki leolam kasto, uleog melech habashan. Ki leolam kasto, v'natan artsam lenakala. Ki leolam kasto, nakal Israel avdo. Ki leolam kasto, shebeshiflenu zakar lanu. Ki leolam kasto. Vayifrikenu mitzarenu ki leolam kasto. No tein lechem lekol basar ki leolam kasto. Hodu le hashamayim ki leolam kasto. Join me at page 93 for Psalm 33. Raninu sadikim badonai la yeshari navati la. Navshenu ladonai shrim genuhu kivo yismakli benu kiva shem kolchekov ataknu yechi chastakadonai alenu. Kasher yichanu la. Join me on page 95 as we do Psalm 93 in the Hebrew out loud. Adonai ma'ageu lavesh, lavesh Adonai ozi tasar, av tikon tevel bal timo, nachon kisaz meaz me'alamata, nasu anaronai, nasu naro kulam, nasu naro yohyam. Mikoloma imrabi adirim bishbeyam adir babarom Adonai edoteka lefet lorek yamim
Kodesh Adonai laorech yamim.
edoteka nemu meod lefet takana vakodesh Adonai laorech yamim. Page 96 as I do the Ashrei in this version. Ashrei Yoshvei Beiteka od Yahalu Chasela.
Ashrei ham shekachalo, Ashrei ham shadonai Eloha.
Tehila leDavid, Aramim Kocha Kamelech, ve'Avreka Shimcha leolam va'ed.
V'choyim avercheka, v'halalashim chali olam ba'ed.
Gadol anai mekulam me'o, ve'ligdul ato'en cheker.
Dor l'dor yishemat ma'asecha, v'urotecha yagidu.
Hadar kefo hodecha, v'difrei niflotecha sika.
V'suznarotecha yomeru, da'vdu atecha soprana.
Seker rav tu kaya biu, v'sikadaka yiranenu.
Chanun rechem Adonai, rechapainu dol chased.
Tovanai lako, v'rakamav al kol ma'asav. Kevo mahu takaya meru, gifura takaya daberu. Mahutka mahu kol ami, mumem shaftaka bekol dor, fador.
Lecho anoflim, v'zokef lecho hakfufim.
Eineko elekaya saberu, fatanotin lahem eroklam beito. Sadikanai bekol tvaka, vekasi bekol masaf.
Karov Adonai l'chol kor av l'chol asher yikra'u ve'emet.
Retsoni av ya'aseh ve'shavatam shema v'yoshie.
Shomer Adonai et kol ohavav et kol harashaim yashmid.
Tila Adonai yidaber pi v'varek kabasar shem kocho le'olam va'ed
V'anachnu
v'anachnu
nevarech.
v'arek Adonai ki niskal shemo levodo hodaretz v'shamayim v'yaren keren le'amo tehila lecho hasidav livnei Yisrael am kirovo. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Join me in the middle of page 100 like this. Hallelujah, 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 bekodesho, hallelujah, berakia uzo, hallelujah, girota, hallelujah, gerokulo, hallelujah, beteka shofar, hallelujah. Benevel veginor, hallelujah. Betofu vaho, hallelujah. Benini velgav, hallelujah. Vesilsle shama, hallelujah. Vesilsle tua, koan shama, tahayel ya, hallelujah. Hallelujah, koan shama, tahayel ya. Hallelujah. Baruch Adonai Leolam, Amen.
Amen. Baruch Adonai B'Tzion Shofenu Yerushalayim. Hallelujah.
Uvaruch Shem Kivado Leolam, V'Imele Kivado Kol Haaretz. Amen. Amen.
Amen.
We are
Amen.
right for page
Please,
101,
you're
starting
able.
with Lecha Adonai Hagedula V'Hagivura V'Hatiferet V'Hasevacha V'Vako Kiko Bashamayim Uvaretz Lecha Adonai Hamalaka V'Machasei Lecho Cholerosh Atahu Adonai Shabani Basharim Tahu Adonai Elohim Asher Bekarta Be'Avram Ve'el Setor Me'or Kasdim Ve'Samta Shemo Avram Umasata Elevavo Neman Lefanecha Imor Teperid Latei Zedus Kanani Ve'hayam bakata livnehem ve'avru ve'talkayam b'yabasha ve'erod afehem hishlak afem mitzulo kemo even b'mayim asi. 102. Vayoshe Adonai bayom chahu et Yisrael miyad Misraim. Vayisrael Vayifared Yisrael ehaya hagedola asher asa Adonai b'Misraim.
Vayamidu Adonai u'Moshe
Adonai uveMoshe avdo. As Yashir Moshe uvenei Yisrael et Hashira Hazol Adonai vayomeru lemor Ashira Adonai ki gaoga sus verochevo Rama vaya Ozi vesimraya vayihili lishua Zeli v'arehu Adonai Ishmael Kama, Adonai Shemo, Markevo Parov Vechelo Yaravayam, Ubikar Shalishav, Tuberuve Yamsu, Yemoye Kasu, Ransulo Kemoavet, Yemika Adonai, Nedari Bakoa, Yemincha Adonai, Tirat Soye, Adonai Imloch Leolam Vaed, Adonai Imloch Leolam. Kila na naman ko goyim velu moshim bekard Sion ishpara karsa v'yatala na yam bekoka v'kayad na lemela kakolaret bayom kahu hiyan na ekadu shimo eka. We may be seated, page 104. Nishma ko chai tivarek et shem kadonai Eloheinu v'chesed anachnu modim. Join me in the middle of page 104. Ilu filu male shira Male Shira, Shira Kaya, Ushamenu Namo. Kamungala vilu filu male shira shira kaya usamenurina momo kamungala arets Nikolako, Nishapekako, Nifaeko, Nifareka, Chimko, Sheka, Kamor, Let Davi, Barakina, Shiedana, Vikokirava, Chim, Kodisho, Haebetasamo Useka, Hagado, Bekafo Chimeka, Hagibola Nesak, Fano Rabin Ore Oteka, Hamelaka Yoshe, Fokise Ram Fenitsa.
Robbie, that was so beautiful, and what a wonderful way to start Shabbat Shirah. So first of all, Shabbat Shalom, everybody. So happy to see you. And welcome to everybody who's joining us on live stream. It's a very special Shabbat because we call this the Sabbath of Song because both passages from the Torah that we're going to chant today and from the Haftarah are rendered in poetry. And and I'm so excited to share the Bima with my. First of all, we started cantorial school together. This is Cantor Melanie Fine, coming all the way from Los Angeles. What?
10 years ago?
Well, I mean, she's being funny, but it was 30 years ago. But it was almost 30 years ago that Melanie and we produced our first show together, Cantors on Broadway. It was so good. And so wonderful to share this with you today. And in honor of Shabbat Shirah, I want to teach you a melody that I'm going to invoke right now. And it was written by my friend Rabbi Aviva Funke, who's also a great musician, and it goes like this. I'll teach it to you. I'll hum a few bars and we'll sing it together. Yai dai 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 dai, yai dai 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 dai, yai dai 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 dai, yai dai dai dai, yai dai 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 dai, yai dai 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 dai, yai dai 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 dai, yai dai dai dai, yai dai dai. And then the verse is, all our praise we sing unto you. Yai-da-dai, 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 Shochenad marom v'kadosh shemo v'chatuv rananu tzadikim b'Adonai la'yesharim nava tehila b'fi yesharim halal uvedivrei tzadikim titbarach uvelshon chasidim titromam uvekerev kiddoshim titkadash. Before we go on, why is that so cool? It's based on Shochenad marom v'kadosh shemo. So it's Lou. What she did was she took the nusach and made it into a melody. But I just thought she was so, and I was like, did you know what you were doing? She goes, yes. Okay. Uvemakalot rivivot amcha beit Yisrael berina yitpar shimcha malkeinu bechol dor vador shekein chovad kol hetzerim lefanecha. All our praise we sing unto you, Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei Avoteinu. All our praise we sing unto you, Lehodot להודות, להלל, לשבח, לפאר, לרומם, להדר, לברך, להלל ולקלס, על כל דברי שירות ותשבחות, דוד בן ישי עבדך, משיחך. 106. Yishtabach Shimcha La'ad Malkeinu. Please rise if you're able. Ha'el b'tad tzimodu zecha, gadol v'kadosh shemecha. Berachot v'hodot me'ata v'yad olam, Baruch atah Adonai El Melech Gadol Batishbachot El HaHodot Adon Haniflot Habocher B'Shirei Zimra Melech Elchei HaOlamim Yadadai 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 Yadadai. All our praise we sing unto you. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah v'yalmad ivra kirutei v'yamlich malchutei v'chayei chonu v'yomei chonu v'chayei dechol beit Yisrael b'galav yizman kariv v'imru amen amen Yehei shmei rabbah mevarach le'olam olamei almaya Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpar v'yitromam v'yitnasei v'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shemei dekudashah v'richu le'ela min kol berchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran bi'alma v'imru amen. Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam yotzer or uvorei choshech oseh shalom uvorei et hakol. You may be seated. Hakol yoducha v'hakol yishabechucha v'hakol yomru ein kadosh kadonai. Ein ke'ergecha v'yein zulatecha hefes piltecha umido melach v'yein ke'ergecha Adonai Eloheinu ba'olam hazeh v'yein zulatcha malkeinu l'chayei olam haba efes piltecha go'aleinu limot ha'mashiach v'yein do melech ha'moshienu l'tchiyat ha'metim. El Adon al kol hamasim baruch u'mevorach lefi kol neshama godlo v'tuvo ma'alei olam da'at u'tevuna hasov v'imoto ha'mitkael chayot ha'kodesh v'nehedar b'chavod al ha'merkava zechut u'mishor livnei chiso Chesed v'rachamim livnei kevodo Tovim me'orot shebara Eloheinu yitzaram b'dat b'vina u'b'haskel Koach v'gvura natan bahem liot moshlim בקרב תבל, מלאים זיו ומפיקים נוגה, נאה זיום בכל העולם, שמחים בצאתם וששים בבואם, עושים בימה רצון קונם, פאר וכבוד נוהגים לשמו, צולה ורינה לזכר מלכותו, קרא לשמש ויזרח אור, ראה והקים צורת הבנה, שבח נותנים לו כל צבא מרום, תפארת וגדולה, שרפים ויופנים וחיות הקודש. 109. לאל אשר שבת מכל המעשים, ביום השביעית עליו וישב על כיסא כבודו. תפארת אתה ליום המנוחה, עונה קרא ליום השבת. שבח שלום. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני. והמאורי אור שעשית יפרעוך סלע 110 תתברך צורנו מלכנו וגואלנו בורא קדושים ישתבח שמך לעד מלכנו יוצר משרתים וישר משרתיו כולם עומדים ברום עולם ומשמיעים ביראה יחד בכל דברי אלוהים כולם אהובים כולם ברורים כולם גיבורים וכולם עושים בימה ויראה רצון קונם וכולם פותחים את פיהם בקדושה וטהרה בשירה ובזמרה ומברכים ומשבחים ומפארים ומעריצים ומקדישים וממליכים את שם האל המלך הגדול הגיבור והנורא קדוש הוא וכולם מקבלים עליהם או מלכות שמיים זה מזה ונותנים רשות זה לזה להקדיש ליוצרם בנחת רוח בשפה ברורה ונימה קדושה כולם כאחד עונים ואומרים ביראה קדוש 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 אדוני צבאות מלוך כל הארץ כבודו והאופנים וחיות הקודש ברעש גדול מתנסים לעומת שרפים לעומתם משבחים ואומרים ברוך כבוד אדוני ממקומו לאל ברוך נמות ייתנו למלך אל חי וקיים זמירות יאמרו ותשבחות ישמיעו כי הוא לבדו פועל גבורות עושה חדשות בעל המלחמות זורע צדקות מצמיח ישועות בורא רפואות נורא תהילות אדון הנפלאות המחדש בטובו בכל יום תמיד מעשה בראשית כאמור לעושרים גדולים כי לעולם חסדו אור חדש על ציון תאיר אור חדש על ציון תאיר ונזכה כולנו מהרה לאורו מהרה לאורו ברוך אתה אדוני יוצר המאורות 111 אהבה רבה אהבתנו אדוני אלוהינו חמלה גדולה תרחמת עלינו אבינו מלכנו בעבור אבותינו שבחו בך אבינו מלכנו ותלמדם חוקי חיים כן תכוננו למדנו אבינו האב הרחמן המרחם רחם עלינו ותן בליבנו להבין ולהשכיל לשמוע Talmud Toratecha b'Yahava. V'ha'erinenu b'Toratecha. V'dahapek libeinu b'mitzvotecha. V'yached levavenu li'ahava u'yira et shemecha. V'lo nevosh le'olam va'ed. V'lo nevosh le'olam va'ed. Ki v'shem kodshecha hagadol v'hanora b'hatachnu. Nagila v'nismecha, Nagila v'nismecha b'shuatecha. V'havienu l'shalom, me'arba kanfot haaretz, v'tolichenu kol mimiyut li'artzeinu. Ki el poel Yeshuotata, uvanu v'charta mikolam b'lashon, v'keravtanu l'shimcha hagadol sela, be'emet lehodot lecha, u'yachedcha b'yahava. Baruch atah Adonai, Habocher b'yamo Yisrael b'yahava. We're on page 112. I invite you to take a deep breath. Let it out. Take a moment. We'll sing Shema together. V'yahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavecha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'eleh asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinanatam levanecha v'dibarta bam b'shiktecha b'veitecha u'v'lechtecha b'derech u'v'shochbecha u'mecha u'kshartam liot al yadecha v'hayu l'totafot b'neinecha u'chtavtam al mezuzot beitecha u'v'isharecha v'hayim shemo al Adonai Elohechem emet v'yatziv v'nachon v'kayam v'yashar v'yaneman v'yahu v'ravi. We're in the middle of page 113. L'dor Vador Ukayam Ushmo Kayam, V'chiso Nachor Malchuto, V'emunato La'ad Kayamet, Udivarav Chayim V'kayamim, Ne'emanim V'nechemadim, La'ad U'omnei Olamim. Al Avotenu V'Yaleinu, Al Banenu V'Al Dorotenu, V'Al Kol Dorot Zer Yisrael Avadecha.
En Elohim Zulatecha Ezra Tavotenu Tavu Me'olam.
Emet Shatau Adonai Eloheinu, V'Eloi Avotenu, Malkeinu Melech Avotenu, Go'aleinu Go'el Avotenu, Yotzreinu Tzur Yeshuatenu, Podenu Matzilenu, Me'olam Shemecha, Ein Elohim Zulatecha, Ezra Avotenu Atahu Me'olam, Magenu Moshe Livnehem Acharim B'chol Dor Vador.
אשרי איש איש מעצמתך ושמך וחייסים הליבה ומתתה ובנון ומחליף ובאמת ומבלעדיך אין לנו מלך ומאוד נסמשים מסגרתן ובלעדיהם מבית עבדים כליתנו
Ram v'nisa gadol v'nora mashpil geim umagbiach shifalim motzi asirim ufodeh anavim v'ozer dalim v'onel yamo be'eit shavam elav tehilot le'el elyon baruch hu mevorach Moshe u'bnei Yisrael lechanu shira v'simcha rabba v'yamru chulam Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh, no ratehilo dosei pele, no ratehilo dosei pele. Shira chadasha, shibchu geulim, leshimcha al sefat hayam, yachad kulam hodu, v'himlichu v'amru, Adonai yimoch le'olam ba'ed, Adonai yimoch le'olam ba'ed. Tzur Yisrael, Kuma Ezrat Yisrael, Uvdechinu Mecha, Yehuda v'Yisrael. Go Aleinu, Adonai Tzvaot Shemo, Kedosh Yisrael, Baruch Atah Adonai, Gal Yisrael. We begin Shachar, read privately on page 115 A or B, and when you're complete your davening, feel free to be seated.
Shvei Tevel, V'imru Amen. Amen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avoteinu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomer Chasadim Tovim, V'konei Hakol, V'zocher Chastei Avot, U'mevi Goel Livnei V'neihem, L'ma'an Shemo B'Yahava, Melech Ozer Ufoked U'Moshia U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham Ufoked Sarah, Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechayei Metim Atah Rav LaHoshia, Majiv HaRuach U'Morid HaGashem, Mechalkel Chaim Bechesed, Mechayei Metim Berachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim Berofei Cholim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayem Emunato, Lishenei Afar, Michamocha Bal Givorot, Umido Melach, Melech Meimit Umechayeh, Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'neman atah lachayot metim, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayeh hametim. Nikadesh et shimcha ba'olam kishem shemakdishim oto b'shmei marom kakatu v'yad neviecha v'karaze el ze v'yamar kadosh 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 Adonai tziva'ot meloch ol haaretz kivodo. Kol Rosh Gadol, Adir v'chazak mashmim kol, mitnaseim liumat serafim liumatam, Baruch Yomeru, Baruch Tevot Adonai mimkomo. Mimkomcha malkeinu, V'timloch aleinu ki mechakim anachnu lach matai timloch b'tzion bekarov b'yameinu leolam va'ed tishkon titgadal v'titkadash betoch Yerushalayim ircha ledor vador ulenetzach netzachim v'yeneinu tirena malchutecha kadavar hamor v'shirei uzecha hayedei David Mashiach tzidkecha yimloch Adonai leolam Elohai Zion ledor vador hallelujah
Ledor vador, nagid God lecha. Ulenetzach netzachim, kedushatcha nakdish. V'shivchacha Eloheinu mipinu. Lo yamush leolam va'ed, ki el melech gadol v'kadosh ata. Ki el melech gadol v'kadosh ata. Baruch atah Adonai ha'el hakadosh. Yismach Moshe b'matnat chelko, ki eved ne'eman karata lo. Yismach Moshe b'matnat chelko, ki eved ne'eman karata lo. Kalil tiferet berosho natata, bi'amado lefanecha har Sinai, u'shnei luchot avanim horid biyado. V'chatuv bahem shemirat Shabbat, v'chein katuv b'toratecha. V'shameru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam beini uvein b'nei Yisrael. Oti leolam, ki sheshet yamim asadonai et hashamayim v'et haaretz uvayom hashvi shavat vayinafash. Uvayom hashvi shavat vayinafash, v'lo netato Adonai Eloheinu l'goyei haratzot, v'lo hinchalto malkeinu li'ovdei v'silim, v'gam b'mnuchato lo yishkenu arelim, ki li Yisrael amcha netato b'yahava, l'zer Yaakov asher b'macharta. Mekadashei shvi, kulam yisveu v'yitangu mituvecha, v'hashvi ratzita bo v'kidashto. Chemtahat yamimoto karata zecher l'maseh v'reshit. Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu ritzei v'imnuchatenu kadeshenu b'mitzvotecha v'tein chelkenu b'toratecha sabenu mituvecha v'samchenu b'shuatecha v'taher libenu li'ovdecha be'emet v'hanchilenu Adonai Eloheinu b'yahava uvratzon Shabbat kodshecha b'yanuchu v'Yisrael mekadeshei shemecha Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh haShabbat. Ritzei Adonai Eloheinu b'yamcha Yisrael avit tfilatam v'hashevet avodali d'vir beitecha u'tfilatam b'yahava tegabel b'ratzon u'v'liratzon tamid avodat Yisrael amecha v'techezena eineinu b'shuvecha letzion b'rachamim Baruch atah Adonai hamachazir shechinato letzion Mokim anachnu lach. Hatov ki lo chalu rachamecha, v'hamrachem ki lo tamu chasadecha, me'olam kivinu lach. V'al kulam, Yitbarach Yitromam, Shimcha, Malkeinu Tamid Leolam Vaed. V'chol hachayim yodu chasela, v'yalalu et Shimcha B'emet, Ha'el Yeshuateinu v'Yezratenu Sela, Baruch Ata Adonai, Atov Shimecha Lecha, Na Elohodot. Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu, Barchenu b'bracha meshuleshet, Batorah Hakduva Yedei Moshe Avdecha, Hamura mipi Aharon uvanav, Kohanim Am Kedoshecha Kamor. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. Yair Adonai panav elecha v'chunecha. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha. Shalom. Sim shalom ba'olam tova uvracha, chen v'chesed v'rachamim. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael amecha. Barchenu avinu kulanu ke'echad biyor panecha. Kiva or panecha natata lanu Adonai Eloheinu. Sim shalom ba'olam tova uvracha, chen v'chesed v'rachamim. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael amecha. Torah chayim v'yahavat chesed u'tzedaka u'bracha v'rachamim v'chayim v'shalom. Sim shalom ba'olam tova u'bracha, chen v'chesed v'rachamim. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael amecha. V'tov be'einecha levarech et amecha Yisrael b'chol leitu b'chol shah b'shlomecha. Sim shalom ba'olam tova u'bracha, chen v'chesed v'rachamim. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael amecha. Baruch Ata Adonai Hamivarech et Amo Yisrael b'shalom. Amen. 138. Yitkadol v'yitkadash shnei rabba. V'yamad yivrak yirutei v'yamlich malchutei b'chayechon v'yamechon v'chay dechol beit Yisrael v'agalav izman kariv v'imru. Amen. Yehei shnei rabba v'orah. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shemet ha'kudashah v'richu Leila in kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechamata da'amiran b'alma v'imru. Amen. Titkabal tzalot honor Yisrael kodam avahon d'ishmaya v'imru. Amen. Yehei shloma rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav u'yaseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. You may be seated for just a moment before we do the Torah service. So I'm actually going to give a little introduction to our reading today. We're in Exodus chapter. We start with Exodus chapter 14. We are in Parashah V'Shalach, and this is as we said at the beginning. It's Shabbat Shirah because we're going to read Exodus 15, which is the song sung by the children of the Israelites before, after they crossed the Sea of Reeds. There is some scholarship that believes that it was actually a Miriamic tradition, that there was that the song is actually written by her, but that her little passage was moved to the end, and that Moses was given authorship for other important reasons. So we'll be doing that. But there were 4 of us together studying, actually 5 when Ed came. So what did we learn about the Shira melody, something today? Raise your hand. I'm going to call on each and every one of you. Something you learned today. So I'm calling on you first, Ruth Zukowski. What did you learn?
So there's a traveling melody that we find all through the Torah when it comes to repetitive type of verses and when we're moving and marching.
Okay, so the Shira melody is also known as the traveling trope, and it's invoked in Numbers, for a few verses in Numbers chapter 10, and also in Numbers chapter 33. Ruth, you get an A+ today. Lou, let's see how Lou's going to do.
Well, it was laid, the way you showed us how it was laid out in the columnar fashion in the different sections, which is very interesting, and it ties in with what Ruth was talking about, where you're not only, you have the melody, you kind of have a visual of a march.
Beautiful. Lou, A+ to you too. That's right. We looked at what I did was I Xeroxed. I made copies of the difference between Ha'azinu is laid out versus Shirat Hayam, and we talked about why and sort of just what the shaping of the poetry might have. Mike Blank, do you have any wisdom to share? Did you learn anything this morning?
Well, I learned the traveling trope. It was just repeated in several sections, not just you there. It's whenever they're moving around, they go to this place, to this place, to this place, same tune.
That's right. And when else, tell me one other time, Mike, when do we use it? When we might, what's another sort of, when we use it sort of sparingly? Do you remember? There were five places where we used the traveling trope. At the end of the Haggadah, that's right. Where's the other Ruth? Ruth, you want to add, was there anything that your classmates did not mention that you also learned? Okay, well, right. Just kidding. But anyway, it was really nice. I hope, I don't always get to lead early morning Torah study, but I hope you'll join me next time that happens. Anyway, there are 5 times we invoke Shirat Hayam. One is, of course, today, and it'll be antiphonal, meaning I'll sing the first part of a verse, you'll sing the second, and then I'll repeat it, and that shows up throughout. And then we do it again when we're talking about the new leaders of the various tribes that are listed when the march begins in Numbers 10. And we also do it when in Ma'aseh, the very last parashah in the book of Numbers, when they do a very sort of almost like bam, bam, bam list of all the cities that the Israelites visited between leaving Egypt and getting to the to the Jordan River. And the words, it's so short that if you did it in regular trope, you'd want to bash your head against the wall just because it's like you'd just be hearing, it's like it would be painful. So because they're traveling, we invoke the traveling trope for that. And of course, at the end of every book of Torah, chazak, chazak, v'nit chazek. Why? Because you didn't finish anything. You're moving from one book to the other, including from Deuteronomy back to Bereshit. And last, of course, but not least, at the end of the Haggadah, where we just relive our liberation from the land of Egypt. We've gone through, we've sung it, we've had our festive meal, we're free, and we say, but freedom isn't going to really be attained until the Messiah comes. And when we say, L'shana haba Yerushalayim, what we're really saying is, we are, obviously, we would all aspire to be able to spend Pesach in Israel, but it's not about that. It's really when Pesach, when we really have redemption in Yerushalayim, metaphorically, the Messiah will be here, and there will be peace on earth, and we will all be free. So those are the things. So that's a little, just to prepare you for today. I am so excited that Cantor Melanie Fine is with us today. She's going to lead us in the Torah service, beginning on page 139.
I almost feel like this superfluous chazan here because Rabbi Cantor Marcia Tilson has done such a beautiful job so far, but I'll do a little. I'm not superfluous. It's
In any way.
in any way, let's begin. En kamocha Elohim Adonai, v'en kemaasecha, malchutecha malchut kol olamim, umemshaltecha b'chol dor v'dor. Adonai melech, Adonai malach, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed, Adonai uz le'amo yitin, Adonai yivarech et amo v'shalom. Avarachamim, heitiv avitzoncha et Zion. Timnech Omot Yerushalayim, Timnech Omot Yerushalayim. Givecha levad batachnu, melech Elram v'nisa, Adon olamim. Vayihi b'nso Aaron, vayomer Moshe, Ribono Shel Olam, fulfill the wishes of our hearts for good. Grant our requests and our petitions. Make us worthy to do your will with a perfect heart, and keep us strong to resist temptation. Grant our portion in your Torah. Make us worthy of your divine presence. Bestow upon us the spirit of wisdom and understanding, the spirit of counsel and might, the spirit of knowledge and reverence for you. May it be your will, O God and God of our ancestors, that we are worthy to perform good deeds in your sight and walk before you in the way of the upright. Sanctify us through your commandments, that we can merit a life of goodness and health and be worthy of life eternal. Guard us from evil deeds and evil times that may threaten the world. May loving kindness surround all those who trust in you, and we say, Amen. Be'ana rachetz v'lish kadisha yakira ana emar tushpechan. Be'ana rachetz v'lish kadisha yakira
dechol amach Yisrael letav lechayin velishlam. Amen.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo.
Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo.
Adonu Adonai iti, Une'ona Shemo Yachad.
Romemu, Romemu, Adonai Eloheinu, Vehishtachavu, Vehishtachavu Adon Roglav Kadoshu. Romemu. Vehishtachavu lahar kodsho ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu. And the women dancing with their timbrels followed Miriam as she sang her song. Sing a song to the one who we've exalted. Miriam and the women dance and dance the whole night long. Yai dai 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 dai. Yai dai 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 dai. Yai dai 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 dai. Yai dai 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 dai. Yai dai 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 dai. As we're getting ready, I'll just say that for many, many years, Cantor Fine has been the Torah reader for something called Ruach Nashim. Am I saying that? No, not Ruach Nashim. Levi Shah, which is a program. It was sort of a women's spirituality Shabbat morning experience that I first learned about from my friend Jan Siegel. And I think that was a nice connection. And so let's open our Kumashim, Parashat V'Shalach, which is on page 399. And we are in the first part of the triennial.
No, first time, yes. Am I doing the whole reading? No, Rabbi Kilson's going to do the song, and I'm going to do the pre-song. Should I call people up? Or does someone else?
No, you can do that.
Usually,
If I tell him if we're just doing chapter 5, he might be.
through spaces. I don't know where you are, so I'm gonna,
We're guessing your home.
you're guessing your home, exactly.
So we're beginning chapter 13, verses 17 through 22.
I can, you can.
I just don't wanna step on any toes.
No, you're not deaf, you're the cancer today.
Okay, you got shoes on.
Yeah,
You're
you're the-
protected,
you're-
okay.
you're not cancer.
Vayazor v'yagen b'yoshir chosim bo v'nomar. Amen. Hakol habukot el Eloheinu nu chavod laTorah. Kohen? Yeah. Kohen kerav yamod.
Mordechai ben Meir Avram Bachana.
Mordechai ben Meir Avram HaKohen Batana. Ya
Baruch.
Baruch Shenatan Torah Li'amo Yisrael B'Kedushato.
V'atem ha'vekim b'Aleichem chayim b'chem hayom.
And the blessings, are they usually out? I'll take three.
Oh, we are on page, I'm so sorry, we are on page 399.
Baruch hu et Adonai hamvorach.
Baruch Adonai Barach
Baruch Adonai hamvorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech olam. Asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai notein ha'torah.
Amen. Vayehi bishalach paro etam Bolachem Elohim derech eretz plishtim ki karohu ki amar Elohim ben yirachem ha'am birotam melchama v'shavu mitzrayma Vayasev Elohim etam derech hamidbar yam suf v'chamushim alu b'nei Yisrael me'eretz Mitzrayim Vayikach Moshe et atzmot Yosef imo ki hashpia hishpia et b'nei Yisrael lemor pakod yukod Elohim etchem v'alitem et atzmotai mizeh itchem vayisu misukot v'yachanu v'etam b'ksei hamidbar V'Adonai holech lifnehem yomam b'amud anan lachotam ha'derech v'layla b'amud eish la'ir lahem la'lechet yomam v'layla lo yamish amud ha'anan yomam v'amud ha'eish layla lifnehem.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech olam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai notein ha'torah.
Amen. Yamod.
Yaakov ben Emmanuel Halevi Vesara.
Yaakov ben Emmanuel Halevi Visara. Levi.
So, and just one thing to point out, we're starting chapter 14, verses 1 through 4. And again, you know, the whole relationship between God and Pharaoh, and the idea that so much of this was premeditated by God. You know, we have to ask ourselves, and this was a big conversation in the last 3 plagues too. You get the impression when you're talking about, you know, the kind of the torture that Egypt went through in order to, that it wasn't even so much about the fact, like Pharaoh actually got the message probably at about plague number 5, maybe 6. But it was God's intent on creating an image of God's self that would be so ferocious in the eyes of both the people he was redeeming and the people who he was redeeming from, that he kept hardening Pharaoh's heart and dragging it out. I mean, if you just look at this, like, I mean, if you read, you know, when God says to Moses, tell the Israelites to turn back. And so they could have gotten to the Sea of Reeds either, but no, take the long way and encamped at Pihahi Road between Migdol and the sea before Baal Zephon, because you're going to camp there. And then Pharaoh's going to say, they are astray in the land, and the wilderness is closing in on them. And then I'll stiffen his heart, and I'll pursue them, and I'll gain glory. Anyway, Moses tells the Israelites that God's going to do this, and they're like, okay. But you just have to wonder, like really, what is that saying, and what's the purpose? There's not a clear answer, but that's our next aliyah.
Baruch Adonai Habarak.
Baruch Adonai Barak Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Habarak Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher bocha bono mikol ha'amin v'noton lanu et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Vaydaber Adonai el Moshe lemor, daber el bnei Israel, vayashu v'yachanu lifnei Pihahi Road, bein Migdol uvein hayam, lifnei Baal Zephon, nichachot tachanu al hayam, v'yamar Paro livnei Israel, nivachim heim ba'aretz, sagar lehem hamidbar, v'chizakti et le Paro, v'radaf achareihem, v'kavda b'Paro v'chol chelo, v'yad'u Mitzrayim ki ani Adonai, v'yasu chen.
Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher notan lana Torah emet, v'chei olam notah b'tachenu. Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Yasher koach. Yamod. Shabbatai Yirmiyahu ben Raphael Yitzchak Chava Shoshana Shlishi.
This is verses 5 through 8, chapter 14. We're on the last verse on page 401.
Baruch et Adonai Habarach.
Baruch Adonai Habarak Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Habarach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch et Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch et Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen. Vayigad melech Mitzrayim ki varacham v'yafech leva Paro v'yavadav elham vayomru mazot asinu ki shalachnu et Yisrael me'ovdenu vayasor et vichbo v'etamo lekach imo vayikach shishmel rechav bachur v'cho rechav Mitzrayim v'shalishim al kulo vayechazek Adonai et le Paro melech Mitzrayim vayirdof acharei b'nei Yisrael u'b'nei Yisrael yotzim b'yad ramah.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torat emet v'chayei olam natan b'dochenu. Baruch atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen. Talmud. Yonah bat Malka v'Natan HaLevi Rivi.
Baruch et Adonai Habarach. Baruch Adonai Habarach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et ha'torato. Baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah.
Amen. Vayrefu Mitzrayim achareihem, v'yasigotam chonim hayam, kol sus rechav paro farsha v'chelo, al pi hachirot livnei Baal Tzafon ufaro hikriv, vayisu b'nei Yisrael denehem, v'hine Mitzrayim nosei achareihem, vayiru ma'od v'yitzaku b'nei Yisrael el Adonai, vayamru el Moshe, ami b'li'en kvarim b'Mitzrayim lekachtanu lamut b'midbar, mazot asita lanu tzianu, ממצרים, הלא זה הדבר אשר דיברנו אליך מצרים לאמור, חדל ממנו ונאבת את מצרים, כי טוב לנו עבד את מצרים ממותנו במדבר, ויאמר משה העם, אל תיראו, התייצבו, וראו את ישועת אדוני אשר יעשה לכם היום, כי אשר ראיתם את מצרים היום, לא תוסיפו לראותם עוד עד עולם, אדוני יילחם לכם ואתם תחרישון.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torat emet, v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah.
We're on page 403, the fifth Aliyahs, verses 15 through 20.
This is 5, right?
Yeah, this is 5.
I'm losing track. Yamon,
Moshe ben Yehuda said.
Moshe ben Yehuda zev chamishi.
Baruch atah Adonai Baruch.
Baruch Adonai Baruch le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Baruch le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher b'chavonu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et torto, Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Vayomer Adonai el Moshe, ma titzak elai daber b'nei Yisrael vayisau, ve'ata harem et batecha, unetet yadecha al hayam v'kayeu, vayavo b'nei Yisrael b'toch hayam b'yabasha, v'ani hineni mechazek elei Mitzrayim vayavo, achreihem v'kavta b'faro v'chol chelo b'richbo v'farshav, וידעו מצרים כי אני אדוני ביקבתי בפרעה ויכבו ובפרשיו ויישא מלאך אלוהים ההולך לפני מחנה ישראל וילך מאחריהם ויישא עמוד הענן מפניהם ויעמוד מאחריהם ויבוא בין מחנה מצרים ובין מחנה ישראל, ויהי הענן והחושך וירא את הלילה, ולא קרב זה אל זה כל הלילה.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torat emet, v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu, Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
תעמוד. רחל בת פסח הלוי וחיה שרה שישית.
Bachu et Adonai HaMborach.
Baruch Adonai Baruch le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai HaBorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bacha banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et torto. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Vayet Moshe et yado al hayam, vayolech Adonai et hayam. Baruch kadim azah kol halayla, vayasam et hayam lecharva v'yibaku hamayim, vayavo b'nei Yisrael b'toch hayam, vayabasha v'hamayim lahem choma, miminam u'mismolam. Vayrefu Mitzrayim אחריהם, כל סוס פרעה רכבו פרשה בתוך הים. ויהי בשמור את הבוקר, וישקף אדוני מחנה מצרים בעמוד אש, וענן וימת מחנה מצרים, ויסר את אופן מרכבותיו, ינהגהו בכלי דות. ויאמר מצרים, אנוסה מפני ישראל, כי אדוני נלחם להם במצרים.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah emet, v'chayei olam natan b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Yamon. Daber ben Yehuda speak. Guys, it's so easy. I'm going to pass the yard to Rabbi Tilton.
Hello.
Melanie, will you follow up?
Yeah, do I follow here? Okay, I'm just looking for it.
No, I have one, actually, you can stand on mine.
Baruch et Adonai Hamvorach.
Baruch Adonai hamvarach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
So before we begin, we're just going to say that right before we do, at the very end, I'm going to give you a musical signal, and you're all going to rise before we do Shirat Hayam, but we'll all stand for Shirat Hayam. Amen. Vayomer Adonai el Moshe, netei et yadecha al hayam, vayashuvu hamayim al Mitzrayim al richbo, v'al parashav vayet Moshe et yado al hayam, vayashov hayam lifnot boker lietano, u'Mitzrayim nasim likrato, vayinaer Adonai et Mitzrayim betoch hayam, vayashuvu hamayim, vayechasu et harechev v'et haparashim lechochel paro. Haba'im achareihem bayam, lo nishar bahem ad echad. Uvenei Yisrael halchu bayabasha betoch hayam, v'hamayim lahem achoma, miminam u'mismolam. Vayosh Adonai bayom ahu et Yisrael miyad Mitzrayim, vayar Yisrael et Mitzrayim. Vayar Yisrael et Mitzrayim meit al safat hayam. Vayar Yisrael et hayad hagadola asher asa Adonai memitzrayim. Vayiru ha'amet Adonai vayaminu b'Adonai u'b'Moshe avdo. Az yashir Moshe b'nei Yisrael et hashira hazot l'Adonai vayomru le'mor ashira l'Adonai ki ga'oga sus v'rochvo ramavayam ozi v'zimrat yah vayehi li lishua Ze'eli v'yanvehu, Elohei avivia romamenhu, Adonai ish milchama, Adonai shemo, Markavot paro, v'chelo yaravayam, umivchar shalishav, tu be'uviam suv, tehomot yechas yumu, yarduvim solot kamo aven, Yemincha Adonai nedari b'koach. Yemincha Adonai tirat zoyev. Yemincha Adonai tirat zoyev. Uverov gaoncha taharos kamecha, tishalach haroncha, yochlemu kakash, uveruach apecha ne'ermu mayim, nitzvu kamoned nozlim, kafu tehomot belev yam, amar oyev, erdof asig achalek shalal, tivlaem o nafshi, arik harbi, torishemo yadi. Nashafta v'ruchacha kisamo yam, tzalaluka oferet b'mayim adirim. Michamocha ba'elim Adonai, Michamocha nedar b'kodesh. Norati lo dosefele, natita yaminacha, tivla emo aretz, nachita bechazdecha, amzu ga'alta, nehalta ba'ozacha, el neve kodshecha, shamu amim yirgazun, chil echaz yoshve, achaz? Chil achaz yoshvei palashet, az nivhalu alufei edom elei moav, yochazemo ra'ad na'amogu, kol yoshvei Canaan, tipol alehem ema tavecha ufefachad, bigdol zeruacha yidmu ka'aven, ad ya'avor amcha Adonai, Ad yavor amzu kanita tiviemo, v'dita emo bahar nachalatecha. Machon l'shivtecha pa'alta Adonai mihikdash Adonai konenu yadecha. Adonai Yimloch leolam va'ed kiva sus paro berich bo uvavarashav bayam vayashov vayashev ha'adonai alehem et mei hayam uvenei Yisrael halchu bayabasha betoch hayam. Vatikach Miriam HaNeviah achot Aharon et hatof biyada vatetzena kohanashim achareha betupim uvimacholot vatan lahem Miriam shiru Adonai ki ga'oga'a sus v'rocho ramavayam. Vayasa Moshe et Yisrael mi'am Suf, vayetzu el midbar shor, vayalchu shaloshet yamim bamidbar v'lo matzu mayim, vayavo marata v'lo yachlu lishtot mayim mara ki marim heim al kain karashama mara vayilonu ha'am el Moshe okay vayilonu ha'am al Moshe lemor manishte vayitzak El Adonai, Voyorehu Adonai eitz, Vayashlech el hamayim, Vayimtechu hamayim, Sham samlo, Chok u'mishpat, V'sham nisahu, Vayomer, Im shamoa tishma lekol, Adonai Elohecha, V'hayashar be'einav ta'aseh, V'hazanta l'mitzvotav, Ushamarta kol chukav, kol hamachala, asher samti b'mitzrayim lo asim alecha ki, ani Adonai rofecha.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech olam, asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayolam nata b'tokenu. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu haTorah.
Okay, I think we cover the Torah now and do something like a
We covered
Mishabera.
it.
It's been a while since I had the opportunity to read that, so thank you. Okay. Do we have a Mishabara list? What I want to do is, let's go around the room, and anybody for whom you're praying, please say their name before we do the Mishabara. And so, it's this.
Bruce Thurston.
Thank you.
Hillel Gumbear.
Thank you.
Sharon Solway and Alan Myers.
Bonnie Lee Amos.
Bob Levin and Alan Corbett.
We're also praying for Karen Bondar, Monique Breno, Frederick Keynes, Janet Capps, Rose Kaufman, Chappie Chapnick, Chaya Cohen, Ed Davis, Bob Friedowitz, Jerry Goldfarb, Gail Gross, Kay Hartman, Maxine Kaplowitz, Bob Klein, Alan Coven, Mary Kroll, Hal Kravitz, Nikki Lee, Bob Levin, Eileen Levine, Jim Levy, Larry Lipke, Lil Lipke, Anita Muchnikoff, Harry Pector, Esther Prehar, Fortunette Richard, Jerry Robbins, Ed Schechter, Howie Schwed, Roseanne Stein, Dorothy Weiner, Sheldon Weisbach, Itamar Ben Chaya Zissa Verhoeven, Esther Malka Chana Batya Ruth, Aaron Ben Sara, Sherry Littman, Bernie Littman, Jacob Joseph Ben Tova, Chaim Isser Ben Baruch. Also, we'll bring our loved ones to mind. We sing together.
May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misheberach imotenu mekor habracha avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah, v'yamad ivrak yirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon v'yom echon, uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, b'gala, uv'izman kari v'yimeru amen, yehei shmei rabbah mevarach, la'alam la'almei almaya, Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnasei v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei nekudesha b'reru li'ela min kol berchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata damiran b'yama v'imru amen.
Okay, where are you going to go?
Back to verse 22. Vayasam Moshe.
Baruch hu et Adonai hamvarach.
Baruch Adonai Borach Leolam Haed.
Baruch Adonai Barach L'Olam Va'ed, Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Olam, Asher Baruch Habanu Mikol Amim V'natan Lanu Et Torato, Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen. Vayasa Moshe et Yisrael mi'am Suf, Vayetu el Midbar Shur, Vayelchu shaloshet yamim bamidbar v'lo matzu mayim, Vayavo marata v'lo yachlu lishtot mayim imara, Ki marim heim al kein karashama mara. Vayilonu ha'am al Moshe le'mor manishtev. Vayitzak el Adonai, vayorehu Adonai eitz, vayashlech el hamayim, vayimteku hamayim, sham samlo, chok umishpat v'sham nisahu, vayomer im shamoa tishma lekol Adonai Elohecha, v'hayashar be'einav taseh, v'ha'azanta lemitzvotav, u'shemarta kol chukav, kol hamachala, asher samti b'mitzrayim lo asim alecha, ki ani Adonai rofecha.
Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Olam Asher Natan Lanu Torah Emet V'chayei Olam Nata B'tochenu Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Yamdu hamagbia v'hagolelet or golel. Oh. Please rise as the Torah is lifted if you're able. You may be seated. Okay. So, first of all, I'm going to, before Ken actually reads, I just want to, I want to look at the Haftarah with you for a nanosecond. So this is, it is actually, except for Jonah, on Yom Kippur, it's the longest Haftarah of the year, because it not only has the entire prose of the story about Deborah the judge and working with Sisera, conquering Sisera, and her work with Barak and whatever, and also suggesting female leadership, whatever. But then we hear the prose, and then we hear the poetry. But the Sparta custom is to just do the poetry. I do want to encourage you to turn to page 426, and you'll see that it is laid out both in prophetic scrolls and even in our book. That's where Ken's going to begin. This is a retelling of the story of Deborah and Barak and Sisera, and you'll see how every other line has one word and then text in the middle, and it ends with a word. Skip a line, one word, text in the middle, whatever. And I don't know if you know this, but the very last line of Shirat Hayam, the very last line had the word Hayam. Livnei Yisrael halchu vayavasha b'toch Hayam. The very last line of the poetry in our Torah reading, it had water, water, and in between it said, and the children of Israel went through on dry land, which is a that, and Ken leads us on page 426. No, I was Barak.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar b'nviim tovim v'ratzah v'divrehem nemarim be'emet. Baruch atah Adonai abocher b'torah uv'Moshe avdo uv'Yisrael amo uv'b'yei ha'emet b'tzedek. V'tashar dvarav Barak ben Abinoam bayom hahu lemor b'ifro apraot b'Yisrael b'hitnadev am baruch hu Adonai shimu mlachim ha'azinu rosnim anochi L'Adonai Anochi Ashira Hazamer L'Adonai Elohei Yisrael Adonai B'tzeitcha Miseir B'tzadcha Misdei Edom Eretz Rasha Gam Shamayim Natafu Gam Avim Notfu Mayim Harim nozlu mipnei Adonai, Zeh Sinai mipnei Adonai Elohei Yisrael, Bimei Shamgar ben Anat bimei Yael Chadlu Arachot, Vehochei Netivot Yelchu Arachot Akalkalot. Chadlu prazon b'Yisrael chadelu ad shekamti dvorah shekamti yem b'Yisrael yibchar Elohim chadashim az lachem tzarosharim magen im yeraev haromach ve'arba'im elef b'Yisrael Libi lechokakei Yisrael hamitnadvim bam baruchu Adonai rochvei atonot tzechorot yoshvei al meidim v'ochei al derech sichu mikol mechatzatzim bein mashabim Sham yetanu tzidkot Adonai tzidkot pirzono b'Yisrael as yordu l'sharim am Adonai uri devora uri dabri shir kum barak v'shevei Shevyacha ben Avinoam as Yerat Sari Ladirim Am Adonai Yeradli Bagiborim Mini Ephraim Shorsham Be'amalek Acharecha Binyamin B'amamecha Mini Machir Yardu Mecho Kakim Umizvulun Moshechim Be'eshevet Sofer V'sarai B'Yisachar Im Devorah B'Yisachar Kein Barak Ba'emek Shulach B'Raglav B'Flagot Ruvain Gdolim Chikekei Lev Lama Yashavta Ben Hamishpatayim Lishmoach Shirikot Adarim Liflagot Ruvain Gdolim Chikrei Lev Gilad Be'ever Yarden Shachein Vedan Lama Yagur Aniyot Asher Yashav Lechof Yamim Ve'al Mifratzav Shishkon Zebulun Am Cheref Nafsho Lamut V'Naftali Al Miromei Sadeh באו מלאכים נלחמו, אז נלחמו מלכי כנען, בתנ"ך על מי מגידו, בצע כסף לא לקחו. מן שמיים נלחמו, הכוכבים עם צילותם, נלחמו עם סיסרא. נחל קישון גרפם, נחל קדומים, נחל קישון. תדרכי נפשי עוז, אז חלמו עקבי סוס, מדהרות, דהרות אבירב. אורו מרוז, אמר מלאך אדוני, אורו ארור יושביה, כי לא באו לעזרת אדוני בגיבורים. תברך מנשים יעל, אשת חבר הקני, מנשים באוהל תברך. מים שאל חלב נתנה, בספל אדירים הקריבה חמם. ידעת ליתי תשלחנה, בימינה להמות עמלים. והמה סיסרא מחקה ראשו, ומחצה וחלפה רקתו. בין רגליה קרה נפל, שכב, בין רגליה קרה נפל, באשר קרה שם נפל שדוד. בעד החלון נשקפה ויבב. אם סיסרא בעד האשנב, מדוע? בשש רכבו לבוא, מדוע איחרו פעמי מרכבותיו? חמות שרותיה תעננה, אף היא תשיב אמריה לה. הלא ימצאו יחלקו שלל, רחמתיים לראש גבר, שלל צבאות לסיסרא, שלל צבעים צבע רקמתיים לצברי שלל. כן יאבדו כל אויביך אדוני באוהביו, כצאת השמש בגבורתו, ותשקוט הארץ 40 שנה. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, צור כל העמים, צדיק בכל הדורות, האל הנאמן האומר ויעשה, המדבר ומקיים, שכל דבריו אמת וצדק. נאמן אתה הוא, אדוני אלוהינו, ונאמנים דבריך, ודבר אחד מדבריך, אחור לא ישוב ריקם, כי המלך נאמן ורחמן אתה, ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הנאמן בכל דבריו. רחם על ציון כי בית חיינו, ולבד נפש תושיע, במהרה בימינו, ברוך אתה אדוני, משמח ציון בבניה. שמחנו אדוני אלוהינו באליהו הנביא עבדך, ובמלכות בית דוד משיחך, במהרה יבוא ויגל ליבנו, על כיסו לא ישב זר, ולא ינחלו עוד אחרים את כבודו, כי בשם קודשך נשבעת לו, שלא יכבה נרות לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן דוד. על התורה ועל העבודה ועל הנביאים ועל יום השבת הזה שנתת לנו אדוני אלוהינו, לקדושה ולמנוחה, לכבוד ולתפארת. על הכל Adonai Eloheinu, אנחנו מודים לך ומברכים אותך. יתברך שמך, בפי כל חי תמיד לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני. מקדש השבת.
Amen.
I'm going to get it.
So, first of all, Ken, thank you for doing that. It was beautiful. And let me just pause to say, I think we all appreciated what an outstanding master of Torah reading is Cantor Melanie Fine. It was beautiful. And she's happy to come back and help whenever Zev isn't here. She's a real gift. And I want to invite Jenny up before we put the Torah away to read a prayer for the state of Israel on page 149. If you're able to rise, do, but you don't have to. It's like your call.
Please join me. Avinu Shebashamayim, Tzur Yisrael B'Goalo, Barech et Minat Yisrael, Reshit Smicha Kulatenu, Hagen Alecha Be'efrat Azdecha, Ufros Alecha Sukat Shlomecha, Ushalach Orecha Chamdecha L'Roshech Hasarecha, V'tatnein Be'tzat Tova Milpanecha, Hazek Edinei Medinei Eretz Chodshenu V'Anchilein Eloheinu Yeshua V'Yater Nitzachon V'Natat Shalom Ba'aretz V'Simchat Olam Le'oshvecha V'Nomar Amen. My pleasure.
Cantor Fine is going to, we're going to do a quick ashrei. Actually, we're going to, just in the essence of time, we're going to go right to, on page 153. We're going to put the Torah away, if that's what we're going to. Okay, so,
So
who's holding the Torah?
we rise. Okay. Yeah, the young ones have to take care of it. Hallelujah, Shem Adonai, Ki nizkav shemo levado, Odo al eretz v'shamayim, v'yarem kerem yavo, teira lecho, asiyah, libnei Yisrael. Adonai lama yashav vayeshev Adonai melech leolam Adonai oz le'amo yitein Adonai yevarech
ba'avor David avdecha al tashev b'nei meshichecha ki lekach tov natati lachem. Machazikim ba v'tomchea meushar deracheha darchei noam v'chol netivoteha shalom Hashivenu Adonai Elecha v'nashuvah Harish Yameinu Harish Yameinu You may be seated. So Cantor Fine is going to share some words of Torah with us. Before she does, a few things I just wanted to say. We have a lovely lunch today sponsored by the Jewish Collaborative in honor of Shabbat Shira. I think it'll be a little bit different than what you normally have, and I hope you enjoy that. And also, I had something else to say, but I can't remember, so I'll say it at the end. But Cantor Fine, take it away.
Actually, can I get someone to?
Yeah, I'll do it.
We're not singing, we're working here. So it is true that 30 years ago, Rabbi Chazan, Marcia Tilton and I began cantorial school, and we don't look a day over 25. It's amazing. So I want to begin with a question. What do you think is the oldest Jewish melody? What do you think is the oldest Jewish melody? Any thoughts? What? The Shema? Shema? Any others?
That might be the one script for sure, but the song.
Hey. Oldest Jewish melody. She said the Shema. These rabbis. Swanee. That's the oldest Jewish melody. Well, the Shema was actually, the melody that we sing for the Shema was written by a cantor by the name of Solomon Zulzer in Vienna. I would say the end of the 19th century. So that's how old that is. Today, of course, you know is Shabbat Shira, which means the Shabbat of song, which is why you have two chazanim today, right? So customarily, it's become a Shabbat in which the chazan takes over and the music comes front and center. The truth is we don't need a day of Jewish song in the calendar because all Jewish texts are sung. When we went to seminary, the chancellor was Ismar Shorsh, and that was his famous line. He said, Jewish texts are sung. And whether we're studying Mishnah, studying Talmud, studying Torah, or finishing a meal, everything we do is with song. And as you notice, what we do year after year, we rise for the Song of the Sea. Why? Because the Kabbalah says, so I do have a bunch of song sheets there. The Kabbalah says that we're supposed to stand and reenact the crossing of the sea. So that's why we stand when we listen to it. The Song of the Sea is chanted twice a year. Rabbi Tilton went into this a little bit. It's chanted today, and it's chanted fittingly on the 7th day of Passover because that's the day that we historically crossed the Red Sea. The Talmud fortunately preserves what happened in the temple, which otherwise would have been lost by now, and it says that the Levites would chant the Shirat Hayam, the Song of the Sea, at the daily mincha sacrifice. And why would they do this? Because we're commanded in Devarim 63 that you may remember the day when you came forth from the land of Egypt all the days of your life. So they would chant it every mincha service at the mincha sacrifice. That means every day. We do now. We've canonized it into the I guess it's the Birchot. It was a Pezukei Zimmer, really. We in the verses of song we've canonized it and we chant it every day as well, because the Exodus from Egypt is one of our most central stories, one of our most central Jewish experiences. And so much so, we actually talk, we mention the exodus from Egypt every time we do Kiddush, right? Every time we say Shabbat Kiddush, we talk about Yetziat Mitzrayim, the going out of Egypt. We're always remembering that as the birth of Jewish nationhood, if not the birth of the Jewish people itself. So today I want to talk about the oldest Jewish song there is, and you may have heard it today. It goes like this. Ashir Adonai ki gaoga, sus v'rochvo ramavayam. So you've heard that, right? We've heard that a lot today. That is apparently the oldest Jewish melody. Any impressions about that melody? Da 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 dum. Da 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 dum. It doesn't sound Mideastern. It doesn't sound with the kvetch and the crying and the minor. It doesn't sound Mideastern at all, right? It's actually in major. Can you imagine a Jewish text sung in the major key? It just doesn't happen, right? It's in major. It's not like Hava Nagila, right? Hava Nagila sounds really Jewish. This, I don't know, I mean, it's in Hebrew, so that makes it Jewish, but otherwise it's not really what we know as our general melodies. And it really consists of only the first 5 notes of the scale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's a very basic song that sounds of jubilation, right? Sounds of exultation. It's not sad. It's a song of an ending, and it's also a song of a beginning. And so as Rabbi Tilcha is talking about as the song of the traveling, what did you call it? So traveling trope, I call it a song of the beginning, of an ending and a beginning. Ending of beginning, which is part of a travel, right? We end our slavery in Egypt and we begin our new life wandering in the desert. And I gave you a handout with some music on it. And I don't know if I have any, but you're going to follow along. So how many of you read music here? So I had a choir teacher in high school. His name was Joel Pressman. He was actually the son of Rabbi Jacob Pressman. And this is what he taught me about music. He said, when the note goes up, you go up. And this is high-level education in Beverly Hills. When the note goes down, you go down, okay? So I just want to look on here. Okay. So let's sing it together. Ashira, it says Oshira. Letter A, I'm at letter A. Ashira Ladonai ki gaoga. Song of an ending and a song of a beginning. That's the Ashkenazi version. The Sephardim chanted differently, and you guys sing it that way in the morning. I heard you. If you look at letter B, the Sephardim sing it this way. They sing it. If you can sing with me, remember, if the note goes up, you go up. If the note stays the same, you stay the same, right? Az yashir Moshe uvenei Yisrael et hashira hazot v'Adonai v'yomru le'mor. So that's enough. And we all want to see it because it's a great song. And so, any comments about that melody? Any thoughts about it?
Isn't that melody somewhere in the, it's a movie, Prince of Egypt or something?
Well, they may have had very good. Yes, they may have had very good. What's the word?
Scholars, like
helping them with the music, which is really smart of them. But yeah, so I think these are a little bit similar. Ashir Adonai ki gaoga, az yashir Moshe b'nei Yisrael.
It's actually exactly, it's in the same way. They built a melody on the note.
Right, and the reason the Sephardic is more singable and more rhythmic is it's actually part of, they don't chant it to this melody on Shirat HaYam. So if you go to a Sephardic synagogue, they're not chanting it this way from the Torah, but every day in services they're using this melody. Az Yashir Moshe b'nei Yisrael. And so of course, as you sing it every day as a congregational tune, it's going to become more rhythmic, more set in stone, and less flowy. Ours is sort of without rhythm, but they definitely have very much a rhythm to it. And in fact, our tune gets preserved really well because it's chanted twice a year. It's chanted today and it's chanted on the 7th day of Passover. And so the less it's chanted through the year, the less chance the Chazan needs to switch things up, right? You say Shechinah every Shabbat for a year, you're going to want to do something different. You say Sim Shalom every Shabbat for a year, every weekday for a year, you're going to want to throw in a new tune. You sing something twice a year, there's no need for a new tune. You're sort of like happy when you reach it, right? It's sort of you land home and you're happy to preserve it. The melodies are very similar, the Ashkenazi and Sephardi, and that would make sense today. We sing Sephardi tunes. Maybe the Sephardis, I don't go into many Sephardic synagogues, sing Ashkenazi tunes. That makes sense. We've got YouTube. We've got what do I sing? Spotify. We've got all these ways to share melodies. But 200 years ago, I don't think YouTube was there. I don't know. Maybe it's the old version of YouTube where they sent the town crier from town to town to sing the melody, and then they would get the playlist, right? They didn't have that. And so I want you to read on this handout at the bottom of B. I'm just actually going to read a portion of it. This was written by Reverend David Aaron de Sola, who is a significant figure in the history of Spanish and Portuguese Jews. He was born in Amsterdam in 1796. That's like soon after the French Revolution, and became the rabbi of Bevis Marks in London from 1818 until his death in 1860. And he notated this Az Yosher Moshe. So this is notated. So what are we figuring out? So it's in the early part of the 1800s. He notated this. But in his notes he says, I'm in the third line, like the last 4 words. Some have affirmed that what we now sing to the Song of Moses is the same melody Miriam and her companions sung. Now, I don't know what Miriam's saying because the recordings, you lose them, right? I've got so many CDs, I can't keep them all straight, and sometimes I lose some, and if they're on 8-track, forget about it. Miriam, who knows what she actually sang, but what is he saying? What is he saying? He's saying that this melody is so gosh darn old. It's so much before anything we know that she probably sang it. I mean, do I think she sang it? No. But what he does go on to say, so I'm at the 4th line from the bottom. It is therefore highly probable that this melody belongs to a period anterior to the regular settlement of the Jews in Spain. Anterior. So before the Jews settled in Spain, before 1492, before the expulsion, they were singing this. The reason why these are in both the Ashkenazi and Sephardic traditions is because they predated it. This was the melody that was being sung when the Jews were not in diaspora, when the Jews were in the land of Israel, before the Jews were expelled. That's how old. Definitely before the destruction of the Second Temple. In fact, no other Jewish melody is that old. Not the great Aleinu from High Holidays. Aleinu l'shabeh. That's probably from the year 1000, year 2000. Not Kol Nidre. Kol Nidre, probably a little bit older. Excuse me, newer, I'd say, than the Aleinu. And not Ashamnu. Ashamnu. Well, we may come back to Ashamnu, but before we go there, let's look at other places where this melody appears. Letter D in our handout. And Rabbi Tilson and I have not compared notes, so she's talked about this a lot today, so I'm reinforcing some of this. Chanted at the conclusion of each day of creation.
So I just want to say, I left that out. There's 6 times we do it during the year. I forgot about this. Go ahead.
Vayhi boker yom echad. At each day of creation, we end with that Shira melody. It is an end of the day and a beginning for the next day, right? An ending and a beginning, okay? An ending of each day of creation and a new beginning and God's redemptive hand in it. When we conclude each book of the Torah, Chazak, Chazak, B'ni Chazek, end of a book, beginning of a new book, and God's redemptive hand in it. And remember I mentioned Ashamnu, that's probably not as old, but if you think about it, and that I have in letter F, Ashamnu, Ashir Adonai ki ga'o, that Ashamnu probably originates from the oldest Jewish melody. And Ashamnu is an end as well. It's and a new beginning. It's a coming to terms with our individual and collective sins and cleaning ourselves and the redemptive hand of God in that process of teshuvah. And there's another place that Rabbi Tilchin also mentioned where we're supposed to use the melody, and that's at the end of the Passover Haggadah. Lashana haba b'Yerushalayim. Lashana haba b'Yerushalayim. Next year in Jerusalem, next year as a free people, it's an ending, and it's a redemptive beginning. The Shira melody is the oldest Jewish melody we know, and it's been preserved remarkably untouched. It signifies an ending and a beginning with God's help. Shabbat Shalom. You can have this.
A copy of the song sheet that you had.
Oh, sure. You had all of them, right? Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna go through Musaf.
Through Musaf.
Melanie, do you want to grab it? Yeah. Okay, so Melanie's leading us in, Cantor Fine is leading us in Musaf. We begin on page 155. We'll start together on 156b through Kedusha, and we'll complete our recitation on our own.
Amen. Yehesh berabba mevorach le'olam olam me'amaya yiparach yiparach v'yishtabach v'yipar v'yitomam v'yistasei v'yitadar v'yitala v'yitala shber kudashah richu le'ela mikol bechata v'shirata dush bechata v'nechamata dameran b'yama v'imaru.
Amen.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Haggadol Gibor V'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'konei Hakol, V'zocher Chasdei Avot, U'meri Goel Livnei Bneihem, Leman Shemo B'Yahavah, Melech Ozer V'Kokeinu Moshiach U'Magim, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Raham Ufakei Tzara, Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechayei Metim, Atah Rab Lehoshia, Mashiv HaRuach, U'Morih HaGashem, Mechapel Chayim B'Chesed, Yemetim B'Rachamim Rahim, Somech Noflim V'Rofech Olim, U'Matir Asurim, U'Metayen Emunato, L'Shenei Ahar, Michamocha Bal Gevuros, U'Midom Melach, Melech Mehi, U'Mechayeh, U'Matzmiach Yeshua, V'Ne'eman Atah L'Chayot Meitim, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayeh Hamitim.
Amen. Na'aritzcha v'na'kish v'akasotziach sarfei kodesh v'makdishim shivra b'kodesh ha'katuv yamidech v'karatzel v'yamar.
Na'aritzecha v'na'akdishecha, Kesotziach sarfei kodesh, Hamakdishim shimcha b'kodesh, Ka'katuv al yad v'yecha, v'kara
Hashem Omrim.
Yinkomo, uyifen berachamim, v'yachon Avraham, am yachad yishemo.
Eloheinu, Avinu, Malkeinu, Moshiach, Roshmiel, Racham, Hasheni, B'nei Kocha, V'yot Lachem Le'Elohim.
Eloheinu, ודברי קודשך כתוב לאמור, אלוהי ציון,
Ledor Vador,
לדור ודור נגיד עליך נצח לחיים תדרך נקיש, ושבח להן מפינו ימוש לעם ועד, כי המלך קדום וקדוש אתה, ברוך אתה אדוני, האל
If you're still davening privately, please continue. Cantor Fine picks up with Kaddish Shalem on 181.
יקרא ויקרא שמי רבה, בעלמא דברה קראתי במלכותי וחייכון ובכל חיירו בית ישראל, בגלה בזמן קריב ימרו, אמן. יהי שמי רבה בגורמה, לעולם עולם מעמיה, יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם וינשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתעלה שמי לקודשה בריחו לילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תשבחתה ונחמתה דמרם יומה ויאמרו אמן. תתקבץ לוט ונבטון לכל ישראל קדם ובהון וישביה ויאמרו אמן. יהי שמר ומן שמי וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ויאמרו אמן. עושה שלום ממרומיו הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ויאמרו אמן.
Ein Keloheinu 182.
אין כאלוהינו, אין כדוננו, אין כמלכנו, אין כמושיענו, מי כאלוהינו, מי כדוננו, מי כמלכנו, מי כמושיענו. נודה לאלוהינו, נודה לאדוננו, נודה למלכנו, נודה למושיענו. Baruch Eloheinu, Baruch Adonenu, Baruch Malkeinu, Baruch Moshienu. Atahu Eloheinu, Atahu Adonenu, Atahu Malkeinu, Atahu Moshienu, Atahu Shekiru Avotenu, Levanecha et Ketoret Asamim. Aleinu l'shabeach l'Adon HaKol, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי ארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות אדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגר עלינו כחורבנם. אנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ויוסר הארץ ומשה יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינתו זו, ושכינתו זו בגובה מרומים. הוא אלוהינו אין עוד, אמת מלכנו אפס זולתו, כך כתוב בתורתו, וידעת היום בהשבותה, בהשבותה אל לבבך, כי אדוני הוא האלוהים בשמיים ממעל, ועל הארץ, ועל הארץ מתחת. Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed, v'ne'emar, v'haya Adonai le'melech al kol haaretz, v'yom hahu, v'yom hahu, yeh Adonai echad, u'shemo Ushemo
You may be seated. You know, Melanie, I don't know if you knew of, although I'm guessing you did, Cantor Philip Modell was sort of the legendary cantor of Orange County. He finished his career originally in Germany, then in Ireland. Here, and he started a magnificent choral tradition at this congregation, adult choirs, children's choirs, everything, and they still, from all the days they had choir sing Friday night and Saturday, and so that was the came from their great choral tradition. This week, our congregation remembers the following people: Gussie Borak, Samuel Cantor, William Friedman, Mono Jefferson, Bessie Rand, Phoebe Rothman, and Abe Wallen. Maurice Abrams, Isaac Benin, Charles Blank, Edna Feldman, Harry Reuter, Jerome Schoenfeld. Marcia Silverstein, Elva Stoller, Eugene Zinsenheim, Anna Zwick, Shep Hurwitz, Isidore Kessler, Sheldon Alfred Rubin, Molly Goldman, Pauline Kessler, Rabbi Melvin Kiefer, Pearl Slotnick Klein, Ada Moskowitz, Bertha Winnick, Zolotia Yagubi, Samuel Shapperson, Melvin Golub, Louis Hutt, Celia Morris, Erwin Schatzman, Samuel Schweitz, Ella Tunkel, Arnold Abravanel, Susan Coven, Franny Kreitzer, Sidney Plout, Dora Ploshnik, Edna Shapiro, Isidore Pulverman, and Steve Weinberg. Are there other Yortsites to acknowledge that I didn't name? Thank you. Oh. Rabbi Harry Silverstein, thanks. And Jan is still in her shaloshim for her mother, Helen Brezanoff. Chayka Batkinda. Good. So please, those reciting Kaddish, join me on page 184 as we honor the memories of our loved ones. Yitgadal, v'yitkadash, Shemei Rabbah, v'yalma divra kir'utei, v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon, v'yomechon, u'v'chayei v'chol beit Yisrael, v'agala, u'vizman kari, v'imru amen. Yehev Shmei Rabba Mavorach, Le'alamu Omei Almaya, Yitbarak, V'yishtabach, V'yitpa'ar, V'yitromam, V'yitnaseh, V'yithadar, V'yitalev, V'yitalal, Shemei B'kudesha B'reilu, Eila Min Kol Birchata V'shirata, Tushbechata V'nechemata, Da'amiran B'yalma V'imru Amen. Yehev Shlama Rabba Min Shemaya, V'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. I invite you to all rise for Kiddush. And then Melanie, you also have Kiddush, and on your side you'll lead us in Motzi, hand washing in Motzi. V'shamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, lasot et ha-Shabbat, l'dorotam beridoam, beini uvein b'nei Yisrael, oti le'olam, beini uvein b'nei Yisrael, oti le'olam. Ki sheshet yamim hasadonai et hashamayim v'et haaretz uvayom hashvi'i Shabbat vayinachash uvayom hashvi'i Shabbat vayinachash Al Kain Beirach Adonai Yom HaShabbat Vayakad Shehu Savri Chavirai Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam Borei Peri Hagafen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz.
Amen.
Amen.
And now, as Lou comes up, wait, okay, go ahead. Lou's making
Well, I
announcements?
have to speak on it in just a second. Shabbat Shalom. Thank you so much, Marcia and Melody. It's so great to have you guys here, and it made for a wonderful Shabbat Shira. And, you know, this morning's Torah study was really enjoyable. And I want to remind folks that the first Shabbat of every month, we do a Torah study that starts with Nash at 8:30, and we do a little study, and it's always enjoyable, so, you know, you might want to join us for that. It's always terrific. So tomorrow, the collaborative is sponsoring an event right here, so I thought best to have Marcia tell us about it rather than notes I have.
Make all the announcements.
Okay, I'll go through everything else. Okay, great. You want to order your Hummintashen, they're baking it. They started this last week, so we have apricot, poppy, prune, and chocolate flavors available. A package of 13 is $13. You can get a package of 6 for $6.50. You need to place your orders by February 24th and pick it up by March 5th. So please, you know, let the Women's League know, get your orders in, and we'll go from there. Also, the Women's League has a fundraiser. We're doing Passover greetings, and so get those family, you know, you can wish family and friends a happy Passover. Get the order form in the NPR. 1 to 2 letters, $12, and you can get that in the March tidings, so don't dawdle on doing that. Now, I mentioned the 24th, the deadline for something. It's also a Shabbat dinner on the 24th. You'll want to join us for that. And we are going to have a speaker.
Do you know who that is?
Yes, we do. Speaker is a guy named Gary Nowak, and he's going to tell us the story of an inspiring person, Tibor Teddy Rubin, who was a Holocaust survivor, a Korean War hero, and a Medal of Honor recipient, and a very interesting guy, and his story is terrific. He put up with a lot of anti-Semitism. He triumphed above a lot of things, so please, you'll want to join us for that to hear Gary Nowak talk about this true hero. Let me see what else we got here. Okay. Be sure that you check for the flyers in the multi-purpose room and check the email. This week on Thursday, we've got happy hour online, so be sure you look for that link. Now, the temple is also looking to have a trip to Israel, which will be in October. So you want to get your facts on that. Please talk to Jenny Levy about it. And it should be terrific. Rabbi Joe Mendelson we're planning to have him lead us, and we'll be doing it with the temple in Laguna Woods. So again, look into that, check with Jenny Levy. It should be a terrific trip. And with that, if I've got everything, I hope I didn't miss anything. Yes, Worldwide Wrap. Thank you, Marty. Men's Club is sponsoring the Worldwide Wrap. A week from tomorrow, Super Bowl Sunday, you'll want to be here for that. We start at 9:30? 9:30. So be here for that. Very enjoyable. We'll do some davening. We'll schmooze a bit. Have a little nosh. Please be here. And with that, I'll say Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
I love the idea that this congregation and the Reformed Temple of Laguna Woods would partner on a trip. That's what sort of strengthens community, is collaboration. Two things, just the Tu B'Shvat Seder that we're hosting here tomorrow is really something that it's our second time doing it with Clergy and Laity United for Economic Justice, which was a very important organization which really supports the sort of overlooked worker in our community. There are so many of them, our Disneyland workers, and are just people who kind of need sometimes a voice to make sure that their needs are cared for as they support our society in so many important ways. And so we're hosting this with Clue. It's at 5 p.m. I bought all the food yesterday. It's sort of mixing a Jewish theme of environmental stewardship with really sort of taking that and sort of applying it as stewardship for, so, we are like trees, all the ways that nobody can see all the ways that the trees provide better our air, but they're doing it. And sometimes there's the hidden workers who better our lives, and we often don't notice that. I also wanted to share with you that next Saturday night, a week from tonight, the Jewish Collaborative is going to try to start doing a once-a-month Havdalah together online. I don't remember if we used to do that during COVID, but every Saturday we had a speaker, we'd have Havdalah. Some of you did come. And next week we're featuring cantorial fellow Gabrielle Newman. She's the young lady who I work with at Temple Beth Tikva. She's really stunning. And her thesis is going to be on how Yiddishkeit has infused certain aspects of rock and roll, and particularly with the group called Say Anything. So there's just one of these on each table. It's just all online. You can find it through the collaborative, but I just wanted to share that with you. And we too are doing a number of interesting things. You're always welcome. I'm also leading a trip to Israel in November, but a very different kind, for a different kind of audience. But you're welcome to learn about that. And I just want to say again, Melanie, thank you for being here. I'm hoping to join you on February 24th for your dinner. And Melanie, what would you like to conclude with? What Adon Olam is your favorite?
I've been running them through my head, and there's nothing that pops up that excites me. Is there something that you can think of?
Well, I would do Sloop John B, since it's the Beach Boys and it's the water theme.
Okay, so you'd have to start that because.
Okay, here we go.
Adon
Olam Asher Malach B'terem Kol Yitzir Nivra Li'et Nasa B'chefso Kol Azai Melech Shemo Nikra V'yacharei Kichlot hakol levado yimloch noah vehu haya vehu obed vehu yeh b'tifara vehu echad v'yesh sheni lehashil lo leachbira li'reishit v'litachlit
Velo Am Yisrael
vehu
Vehu Eli
v'chai
Chai Goli V'tzorchem Li
Yetzara
Yitzhara
vehu nisi
Nisi
umanos
Li Menakosi B'yom Ekra
biyado ki ruchi
V'yekdi Shavia V'ayira
ve'im ruchi
Ruchi Yati
Adonai li velo ira. I'm just having a memory of the time that me and Scott were hanging out to my dorm on Sukkot in 1994. Shabbat shalom, everybody.
Before we were married. With your dad. In your room? We all fit in there. It was like really crowded.
The song that we sing